one thing that I learned from Coach Egan's is you have to prepare to be a state championship winning program, even though you don't have the pieces. Because when that piece shows up, you want to be able to insert them and go. You don't want to be able to get that piece in and then now all of a sudden I got to teach y'all how to play defense. I have to teach y'all how to run offense. No.
Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. Today we're joined by the head boys basketball coach at Molina High School, Ryan Carrington. Coach Carrington is in his 10th year of coaching, second as a head coach. He's had coaching stops at Crosby, Baytown Christian Academy, C.E. King High School, South Houston, and Kimball High School. At Crosby, Coach Carrington was an assistant coach for a state-ranked playoff team. As the head coach at Baytown Christian, he led his team to an undefeated district championship and regional finalists as the number 2 team in the state. At Kimball High School, Coach Carrington helped the Knights win 2 state championships in 2023 and 2025. He was a TABC Assistant Coach of the Year finalist and named DISD February District Coach of the Month in 2025. Before we hear from Coach, take a moment to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media at JAMODI Podcast.
The JAMODI Podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
How's it going, man?
It's good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I just got back from, we had Fall League this morning, so I just got back to the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where are you doing Fall League at?
Pro Skills has one at Lake Highlands on Saturdays.
Okay.
We at Lake Highlands on Saturdays. I'm also in the Boss League in Duncanville Fieldhouse, and then I was doing one in Ranch View, but it's over now. So Ranch View had one. So
What positives do you see from doing fall leagues, especially so many of them?
man, building team chemistry, also being able to get a real 5-on-5 look, because sometimes, you don't have, your roster isn't that deep to truly give your starting 5 a look at practice. So, it's kind of live practices, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, what we need to fix. So I like it because I've seen a lot of things that I need to make sure I have done, and it would suck to wait till November 14th to figure out, well, we don't understand help side defense.
Yeah, that's a good point. It can be used as like a measuring stick of where we are right now and maybe give you a little bit more focus on what we need to work on in next week in athletic period, right?
Right. Most definitely. So I just try to take, I record all my fall league games, and I try to take what we're doing wrong, and I go right into practice or workouts. We're not at practice yet, but workouts, and try to fix those things.
Well, Coach, congratulations on Molina, and you're coming from such an amazing experience at Kimball and all the success you had. How's it going there?
It's different. It's different. It's kind of the same area, kind of same different demographics, but not necessarily that winning culture that we had at Kimball. So I was always told, winning is uncomfortable. And what I kind of tell my kids is, let's be comfortable being uncomfortable. Some of the stuff I'm gonna ask you to do, I understand you've never done before. Not only with the kids, but even with the parents of understanding what fall league is. And I'm like, hey, any type of successful program that I know of has participated in fall league. And so I understand, the games don't count and it's not the season, and it's a sacrifice as well, because, you don't have that transportation that you do during the season. Fall leagues do cost money. It's not your regular $3 high school game. So there is sacrifice on player end and parents end, but, it's all trying to build the program and understand what the standard is. So most schools that I've came from, even before Kimball, have all participated in fall league. Molina is probably one of the only schools I've ever been to that doesn't. Who this is a brand new concept with most of the kids, and most of my kids don't play AAU either. So it's trying to incorporate all that.
How much of a shock was it for you stepping in? Did you have an idea, knowing or going into it knowing that, okay, culture here is going to be different? The expectation hasn't been to win at this school like the places that you've been, where excellence. I mean, I walked into that that workout. It was probably almost 3 years ago now,
Yeah.
and you could feel it. You could feel the professionalism, the excellence from the coaches and from the players. I mean, it was humbling seeing just how responsive they were, how hard they were working in the fall. Was it a shock for you how different, or did you have a little bit of this like, okay, I know what I'm getting into and I'm just going to be patient. It's going to take time.
Yeah, it's more so kind of know what I'm getting into. I did not expect Molina to look anything like Kimball. Molina was in our district a couple years ago, and we played them. Not to say that their kids didn't play hard or didn't have pride, but it's a difference, between you got Kimball and other
Yeah.
schools, and still real good friends with Coach Nick. Man, I go up to the school sometimes. And like you kind of said, I walk in that gym and I hear them before I even walk into the gym. I hear the feet, the clapping, the yelling, and it's like, man, like this is what I have to get it to. So more so just kind of I saw Molina as a place where one, they believed in me, and I had to really kind of sit back and look at their program and put my vision down on paper and see, was this something
Wow.
I believe in? And I believed in it enough to, accept the job and come in there. Of course, it's not gonna get fixed overnight, but I think with my experience and my connection that I can have with players, and I don't shy away from teaching because I always haven't been at a Kimball. So I've been at other schools where you have to do more with less, and that kind of really built my foundation. And I think when I got to Kimball, of having that experience, I was able to help elevate the program because I wasn't used to. I always, and I think you said it when you were in there. You were like, Coach, if I had some of these guys, like the things that I would do. And so that was my thought process going into Kimball. When I got there, I was like, these are the players that you wish you had, And so I felt it was on myself and the coaching staff to say, hey, we can't be the ones that messes up. They can't mess it up. We have athletic kids. We have shooters. We have guys that can handle the ball. We have freak athletes. Like, this is what you want. So it's going to come down to us. If we mess it up, it's going to be on
Yeah.
us.
And that's an interesting perspective right there. I didn't think of the pressure maybe that comes with having so much talent. And because I think most of us, again, are on that other side of it where we love the kids that we have. We're thankful for the buy-in and how much they do invest. But you're always, I think as coaches, we got to be careful hoping or wishing that we had different, because with any circumstance that you're in, there's challenges that come along. That's just not one that I think I thought of very much.
Yeah. No, pressure at Kimball is a different, like my second year there, we won a state championship my first year. My second year, we're 21-10. Most people would be grateful. We lost in the second round to a team that went to the regional championship or regional semis. And walking around the school, you would have thought we were 2-49 and just lost every game by 40. Like the expectations of what Kimball is. My son wants, I guess I can say hello.
Hey, what's going on?
So the expectations of what's at Kimball is just it's just a different beast. Like, people walking up to you like, what happened last night? And I'm like, man, I've been at schools where if we were 21-10, like they would be patting us on
It's
the
a good
ball.
year.
One thing at Kimball, which Kimball can do this. I personally, like, if Molina, we get to the playoffs, I'm gonna put a banner in the gym. But Kimball is no banners but state championships. Only state championships, by district, regional finals, state semifinals. Like, they do not recognize that. It's state championships only, and so um, everybody, they know what the goal is and they know what it takes to get there. So even from your community to your teachers to your parents, like, they don't care that you went second round. They don't care that you beat some of the top teams in the country if you don't come home with some of these. Like, they don't care at all.
And it's important, like you said, to know where you are and to have realistic, reasonable, high expectations, but things that can be achieved. Because I would imagine if you came in here into Molina saying and doing the exact same things that you did at Kimball, but where that tradition is there, it may be even a longer time until, not to say you wouldn't get that buy-in, but it might even be longer. So redefining success. What does success look like for your Molina, for my Midway team down in Waco? What does that success look like this year? And not comparing it to teams of the past or where you and I have been before, but just allowing them to be in that moment, where their feet are. It reminds me of my senior year at Baylor. We had only 6 scholarship players. We were 8-21, coach. Incredibly successful that year at 8-21 because we weren't supposed to win a game and not even be competitive. So there are times, and I think maybe this is our job, right? You and me, is we get to define what success is, and we get to set those standards. And like you said, man, put that banner up in your gym if you get that milestone that has been missing and lacking from your school for so long and from where I am.
Right. So it's about obtainable goal. Molina hasn't been to playoffs since 2013. So getting a playoff bid is a huge success. I feel like it's something that the community want, the school want, the kids want, I myself want as a coach. So by no means, like, granted, are we preparing to win state championships? Yes. We want to come in and we want to hit the weight room. We want to hit practice. We want to prepare like we're a state championship winning program. But our goals, can be to make the playoffs. I simply tell my teams that I want you guys to compete. Like I don't like Molina to be looked at as like an easy out. Like, oh, we got Molina on the schedule. Like, little Timmy's going to play. He's a 15 man on the bench. Like, this is a game he has I don't want
They're circling it. Can't wait for that night. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not your senior night. We're not your homecoming. Like that.
He's a natural.
Right.
He's a natural.
He loves basketball. So, so that's the kind of thing that I'm more so looking at is being competitive. Like, again, it's kind of changing the gap. I look at previous scores and it's 40-point losses, 50-point losses. So even if we might not win games, which I am preparing them to win games, but if it's a 10, 15, like now we're talking possessions,
Yeah, we're in it. We're in this thing. Yeah.
So I have a kid right now who's playing fall league, and last year, I'm not really sure what his role was, but he came every day this summer, so it's like, I can work with that. I'm not blind from being at Kimball that think I just need these super athletes. Give me a kid that's coachable and that's hardworking. I can find a way to put him in. I tell them everybody can't make shots, everybody can't dunk, everybody offensively isn't gifted. That's okay. But if you can play defense for me, and I had a coach who was assistant coach last year, and he coaches football, so he finally came to a fall league game, and he watched the kid, and he was like, "Coach, this kid looks 10 times better than he did last year." And it's literally off his effort. It's literally finding him a place to be on the court. Like, we work with shooting with him every day, but it's not there yet. But I tell him, like, you can play defense. You can crowd a guy, and you can yell. You can give me energy, and that's your niche to find and get on the court. And he's a senior, and I think he's gonna have a way better senior year this year than he anticipated coming into the season.
That, Coach, this has already been awesome. Just getting to connect with you again. Loved our time that one afternoon in Kimball a few years ago. So excited that you have this role, and honored for you to come on here and talk hoops with me.
Appreciate you having me, man. I was excited when I got your message. I was like, yeah, most definitely. I definitely signed up for that.
Man, we already talked a little bit about the culture that you've been at, and I know that you've seen it at a high level with Coach Smith and those guys, and it drives performance. But how are you going to use that culture where you're at now, creating it and helping it to drive the performance at Molina?
So one thing that culture is, when I first got into basketball, Coach Egan's down in Crosby, Texas, gave me my first job as an assistant. And I think that was the first time I truly saw culture. So I'm from Houston, and Crosby, I had some cousins that went there. They were football stars there. But Crosby, outside of Houston, I grew up in the city of Houston. So my first coaching opportunity, I'm driving out to Crosby every day. Never really been out there. One high school town, and literally fell in love with it. The kids, by no way, are gonna when you walk into the gym, they're not gonna jump off the screen to you. but some of the hardest working kids that I've ever been around in high school sports. But it's because Coach did a great job of establishing the culture as far as elementary, middle school, and even in high school. Like, it's a standard there. If you want to play basketball, you're gonna play hard, you're gonna play tough, you're gonna buy in, you're gonna be coachable. Saw as a young coach, I saw him let some players go that were great athletes. And, of course, me not a young coach, not really understanding. I'm like, hey, coach, but the kid, he's 6'4", and he jumps out the gym, and we don't have another kid. We got, like, I'm at Crosby, we got one kid over 6 feet. We got one kid that can dunk this year. Might not have another one next year. Like, our best players are tiny guards that can shoot. And it's like, I watch coach, draw the line in the sand. I watched him raise the standard. And if you couldn't meet the standard, you couldn't meet it. And if you fell off, you fell off. But I also saw addition by subtraction. So I've always used that no matter where I've been, is that I want to build my culture like that. So again, jumping into a job like Molina, who a lot of people were like, man, you come from Kimball to Molina, like, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid to establish the culture. Being with Coach Egan's, I understood you got to show up to work every day. And so every day this summer, I showed up. Now, coming in, new culture, so some of these kids ran from me all summer. I didn't see them. So some days I would come in there and I would have 10 kids. A lot of days I came in and I had 3. Sometimes I had 2, sometimes I had 1. But guess what? Every time that kid showed up, he got a workout in. It wasn't, hey, we're not going to do nothing today. Okay, you're showing up. Hey, we got shooting drills. We got dribbling drills. Because at Crosby, we really focus on the basics, dribbling, passing, and shooting. Like, really focus on the basics, because that's how we were going to win games, is that we were going to out-hustle you. We were going to out-shoot you. And one thing that I learned from Coach Egan's is you have to prepare to be a state championship winning program, even though you don't have the pieces. Because when that piece shows up, you want to be able to insert them and go. You don't want to be able to get that piece in, and then now all of a sudden I got to teach y'all how to play defense. I have to teach y'all how to run offense. No, I don't know if you know this guy's name, but I'm pretty sure you do follow college basketball. PJ Haggerty. Was at Memphis, one of the top scorers in college basketball. He's at Kansas State now. He went to Crosby. And I watched PJ score so many points. Like, I watched him score 40, 44, 50, 28 on a bad night, 35 on a bad night. Like, when I say I literally saw a kid average 40 points, and I know sometimes people throw that number out there and you're like, oh, he averaged 40, and you look, he had 22. Well, it feels like 40 in a high school game. No, like, literally a kid averaging, like, I'm doing the books and I have to write so small because he's having 15-point quarters, 18-point quarters, 22-point quarters. And Crosby junior year, I believe they went to the regional quarters, and then his senior year, they went to the regional final. But for a Crosby team, which I believe it was him and Sean Elkington, the only Division I players. He plays in Louisiana now, and PJ plays at Kansas State. But those other guys on the team could contribute to that team because they were prepared for it. They were ready, and it was like, at a school like Crosby, one high school town, your talent is like this. You get a good group, and then it dips. And then it might dip for a while, and then you might get another one. So, but Coach Higgins always, every day came, he prepared whoever came in the gym, and they worked hard. And so just witnessing that lets me know what I want to do in my program. Like, again, at Molina, I'm preparing these guys to potentially one day go compete for a state championship. Now, I know I don't have the tools, especially in 5A. We're in a great basketball district with teams like SOC and WT White and Hillcrest. And so it's going to be tough. And there's other teams outside your by district. You got to go to the Mesquite schools. You got the Killeen schools in second round. So it's, it's rough. You got the Frisco schools, but I say that to say, I don't know, you only can deal with the kids that walk through the door. I don't know if there's a kid right now in Molina not Molina, but Stocker Middle School that might be a 7th grader that might turn out to be a 6'7" wing top 100 player in the country. But my program has to be prepared for when that kid walks through the door, that we can insert him with 4 more guys that can work hard and know how to play. And so I think that's my biggest on building my culture here at Molina is like every day. And I tell my kids because they're not used to it per se, but I coach hard. Like it's not any excuses. Like kind of the days that you guys had of it's gonna be okay. It's not good enough. I remember when Coach told me that one time. I went to a college workout and had some guys try out for the team, and they were shooting by themselves, and they went like 4 for 10 or 5 for 10. And he simply said, "Not good enough. You're open. Yes, it's a college level workout, but you're open. Like I can't really do anything with a kid that's shooting 10 open shots and going 3 for 10. Yeah, in your high school or wherever you're at, that might be great. I'm not gonna really be mad if I get a kid and he shoots 10 3-pointers, knocks down 4 of them. That's 12 points. Like, you know, but it's kind of the being uncomfortable that I tell my players is, sometimes it's not good enough. It's not that I'm giving up on you, but I'm telling you the truth. If you're backing up on defense and you're not crowding the guy and they start attacking you, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of, especially with what the program has been, is breaking those habits of it's it's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You let the guy blow by you. It's okay. You can get him next time. That's not where I'm going with it.
Man, well said. And I really appreciate your mentality of controlling what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control who's in your gym right now, or even who's living in your area coming up through middle schools, but you can't control the standards that you set and the excellence that you're trying to create. And then also, I, I like the idea, and I think you were kind of talking about is the patience that you have to have. You see the vision for what you would like your program to be, but it's not there yet. And even when during the summer, and some similarities with our experiences with that, I was down at Midway this summer, and there were people I saw more than others throughout the summer. And for whatever reason, but the patience that you have to have with them, but then also like the idea that, hey, I believe that one day we're gonna have the gym full of dudes that love the work
Mhm.
and love to train and love to be there and are buying into whatever culture and standards that we're setting. I think that belief that we have to have as coaches is huge.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but when I got offered the job, I had to sit down here. I had to believe in it. And a lot of people ask me like, "Why'd you take Molina? You could have stayed at Kimball. They got 9 returning players. You can go win another state championship." And I'm like, "Well,
Get you another ring, man. No,
yeah,
no worries. Yeah.
and so I say you got to be careful what you ask for because I remember before I got to Kimball, like I wanted to be a head coach, but I used to always say I watch state championship every year. I go to the state championship if I can. I was like, I want that. I want to win state, and the opportunity came for me to go to Kimball. And I jumped on it and I love it. But now it's like I want to be a head coach. And so I can't keep passing up opportunities, trying to
Yeah.
wait for something. So it's like go somewhere that believes in you. Molina believed in me. And like again, I really sat down and looked at the vision. I was like, this place isn't as bad as people are making it out to seem. And I don't know necessarily what they did before or.
Yeah, but that's in the past, right? You saw the potential.
Mhm.
You saw the potential there. And I think your players will appreciate the potential that you see in them too. Because probably like the same way that Kimball has this culture of we believe that state championships are the standard. And when we walk in this gym, we're going to work hard and we're going to get better. There's also gyms out there that believe the opposite, that this won't happen for us and we don't have the ability to walk in the gym and get better. So I think the fact that you see that potential is huge.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's power in your words, and so I really like preach to my kids, and I let them know like this is where we're heading. Like we need to be a playoff team, we need to compete, and I use that word a lot is compete, because I mean like you said, in even your situation, it's not gonna always look good at the end of the game. Like sometimes the other team's gonna have more points than you do, and sometimes you can't change that, but I want us to compete. Like that's my biggest thing. And even if like fall league, we haven't, won many games, which they don't count, but everybody stops me afterwards and they're like, "Hey, your guys, they got something. Like they're competing. I have not seen Molina look like this." And it's a great compliment. Of course, I'm not the biggest fan of that when I hear it, because I'm like, man, I want us to win games. But competition
I get that. Yeah.
is where I want to go with this program.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now that you're there and you see who you have in the gym, you're starting to figure out what style of play and what you want to do. Maybe what works with the Knights of Kimball may not work with the Jaguars. Jaguars?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, right now. But how do analytics play into the type of style, the type of system that you'd like to see?
So I'm real big on analytics. I'm just real big on them. I try not to like overdo it, but I record all our games. I upload them to Huddle Assist. I get our stats. I've done this for a while since Huddle Assist came out. I think it's a great tool for people, but it's something that I need my kids to see what they're doing. Like I need to see, because kids have this funky memory and parents have this funky memory of, he played 5 minutes in the second half. Ma'am, he played 17 minutes. He shot 10 shots. He made one. He got no rebounds, no steals. Like, so I think that's big. Like I had a kid last year at Kimball, and I pulled his 3-pointers, and he was like shooting like 20% for 3-pointers. I mean, shooting like, let's just say he was, for easy numbers, he was 20 for 100, right? And I'm showing him, and I'm like, dude, and we're watching film, because it's more than just the numbers on the analytics. You got to watch film, you got to watch shot selection, you got to watch, all those type of things. And so I'm showing them film, like, look, when you catch and shoot and you're in a good rhythm, your shot goes in. When you force shots, it does not work for you. And he looks at the paper and he's like, Coach, I know what this paper says, but I'm not playing that bad. And I'm like, yes, you are. You are playing that bad.
Just
like,
math. Yeah, I'm not making this up.
Like it's not saying that's who you are as a player. It's not saying you can't be better, but I just need you to see, because sometimes I need to see it. They need to see, like, okay, well, I am shooting a lot of threes, and hey, I'm shooting better on the right side than the left side. Or I do need to go get more layups in the game. I do need to knock down my free throws more, because again, like I said, they have that funky memory, and I always say the eye in the sky don't lie. Having the stats, I feel like that's the coach's best friend. That's your best friend when the parent meetings start happening, because they think they're not playing this much, and so analytics is real big for me. I know a lot of coaches might not like it. I don't believe in hiding games either. I know a lot of schools got the NFH cameras or the huddle cameras, and they take the camera down as soon as the game's over. They take it off YouTube. I'm like, hey, it's 2025. These games are everywhere. You can find them anywhere. If you want to see the team, see it, you have to stop us. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna put that much time in looking at us, unless we're like in the state championship game.
Interesting. So if you're recording a game and in like most huddle cameras that can't connect right to a YouTube page, you leave them up there.
Well, so in DISD, we all have NFHS cameras. So you can literally find any DISD team on NFHS. Some people go and request them to come off. I leave them up there.
Okay. Yeah.
Because also it's like, it's not even really for, if somebody wants to scout you. Like parents want to watch they kids play. Uncle, grandma, you know what I'm saying? Somebody might
like
watch their kid play. So it's like the competitive advantage isn't that significant.
We can all get film now.
Yeah.
Like we can either they see it off of NFHS or my YouTube or the Midway YouTube channel, because we'll record it live, because that is helpful. I mean, you got parents that are out of town, grandparents that don't live there. That link, I think that's a way that we can deposit back into their accounts by making it really easy for people to get to watch their sons play, grandsons play. But I've done it where it's live and then I'll delete it. But it's a good point. I mean, if they're eager to find it, they're gonna find it anyway.
Yeah, like huddle is a button press, a button like. Hey,
Yeah.
coach, could I have film on Waco Midway? I saw you guys played them, man. Good luck. If you got any notes, let me know. And boom, they got it. And so,
Yeah.
me personally, I literally have an account to every streaming service there is. I have a Baller TV, I have a Huddle Fan, I have an NFHS. Like, so I did all the scouting at Kimball. So, like, YouTube, I will find your game. Like, there's no team that we have played that has successfully hidden film. So, I mean, you still gotta go through. You still have to break it down. You still have
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
hey, it could be
Just
a
because they have it doesn't mean that they're going to go through it and scout
ball.
it intentionally, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been at other schools and I've been around other programs that don't do scouting the way we did at Kimball, or how I'm going to do scouting at Molina. Like, we do a thorough scouting report. We clip clips from players. I might take a guy and clip every play that he touched the ball. I might clip every time he was the main defender on defense, and we give those to our players and say, hey, this is this guy's tendencies. This is what he likes to do. He likes to go left. He likes the step back. He likes the hezzy pool, So on defense, though, he tends to hide. So I tell our guys, like, yeah, this guy is great on defense, but look who he's guarding on the other end. So guess what? If he's guarding you, he's saying that you aren't good, and so we give that stuff to all our players. Coach Nick did a real good job of letting us have scouting and taking that time to go through, because a lot of people think at Kimball we're just rolling out athletes. No,
No.
our
Yeah,
team's
no
doing
way.
good because the way we prepare them, they're prepared to go out there and play these games.
No doubt. And you could get that. I mean, all anybody has to do is walk into that gym and you can feel it. You can, like I said, I use the word excellence. You can just feel it all over the place, even from his office where he had snacks and candy bars for the kids to come in and
Yeah.
grab one because, they're hungry. They need to eat more. But I just thought there was brilliance in that because they're coming by and it's a way again for us to deposit and give back. And then I love what you said about using those tools and analytics to help players, to help parents see really what's going on. And another way that I use it is I know you've heard this before, a parent saying that, or even a player, I didn't do anything wrong. And I think that, okay, let's look at it then. Let's look at at the stat line. If you see zeros across the board, I think the idea of not doing anything wrong, like at varsity level, we're past that. You're not even on the team if you're doing things wrong.
Right.
Doing nothing, just existing out there and having zeros across the line, in my opinion, you might as well just be doing things wrong because you're not producing, you're not moving us this way. And I think without that, then you're relying on memory or something of, well, I see him maybe doing this or that. No, no, no. Look at the stat line across the board. No rebounds, no shot attempts, no turnovers, no steals, right? They're just existing, not creating. And I think that's where analytics help too.
Yeah, out there getting conditioning and cardio in.
You and I could probably do that right now because we're smart. Now I'll get tired super fast, but I could probably not turn the ball over, but I'm definitely not going to create an assist for my teammates.
Right.
Because I can't play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think that zeros are that impressive.
Yeah, nah, most definitely, because it's like, do something, again. And I try to tell kids this because, kids are so offensive minded. They think I have to be the one shooting. Like you said, I didn't do any wrong because I didn't shoot no shots. I didn't turn the ball over. But again, how are you affecting the game? Rebounds, there's like effort plays, rebounds, steals, deflections. A huddle has real big deflections. Sometimes it causes a steal, but it's like deflections ain't time you put your hand on the ball. Like you're causing some type of chaos in the game. So it's like those are the stuff that I look at the most too, is like, are you rebounding? Are you getting steals? Are you getting deflections? Like that right there lets me know if you're in the game doing something versus just being out there. If you're out there, it's 4-on-5 basically.
That's right. I think an interesting question to ask your players is what do you feel like you need to do to get on the floor more? What are the things that I'm requiring of you? And I think there's been times at Faith, my previous school, and now where players will say, I need to be able to make threes. And I got to be careful with that. I don't want to I don't want them to think that that's the only way that they can add value. And if they can't do that, then they're not a good player. And I go back to a player named Matthew Reed, who was he had a twin, him and James Reed. They're rugby players that played rugby outside of school and actually played rugby in college, but they loved basketball. And Matthew, I think that year we made a Final Four run. We had I mean, our normal 350, 363s in that year. It wasn't like anything special, but it wasn't low. He had 0, but I could not take him off the floor. He got rebounds, took charges, ran our flow, was an energy guy. So I have to remember that. Like I want the players like Matthew to feel like they're still valued in our program as much as the dudes that, they can go for 30 or 40.
Yeah. I'm real big on rewarding kids that are like that. Kind of like the kid I talked about earlier who came every day this summer. Like, it's like, is he the best basketball player in the city? No, but I tell kids, you can be a Division I or a college level guy, and then you can be a really good high school basketball player. And sometimes guys just need to be really good high school basketball players. Like, be that guy for your team. So for me, especially establishing culture. How can I not reward a guy who showed up all summer, is coachable, and I get on him. I get on him because he, sometimes he plays not up to my standards. But guess what? It's yes, sir, no, sir, and he comes back the next day. He doesn't cower. He doesn't have a random doctor's appointment on a Tuesday because he had a bad practice on a Monday and now he has a dentist appointment, or he has
those dentist appointment. It's amazing how they crop up. And I don't know about you. I don't remember my mom or dad just surprising me with a dentist appointment. I mean, those things are planned out. You got to get on a waiting list for a long time.
Right.
That's funny right there.
Yeah. So, but it's like, I reward that kid, and could I play? Could I give other guys his minutes? Yes, but guess what? You other guys haven't did what he did, and when I'm establishing culture, I'm gonna have more of him than I'm gonna have of you. And so having those guys that can really come in and buy in and that's going to play hard for me is going to be better than that guy who can come in and shoot 15.
You probably have a lot of multi-sport athletes, and I'm balancing that or having to balance that even a little bit more. It's funny being at a, say, public school there, in Central Texas, we have quite a few that cross over. At my last school, it was less and less. It seemed to be more just athletes focusing on one thing. And so now being at where you are, how do you balance those two sport athletes?
So I'm a big component in two sport athletes. I think a lot of people don't really like them. So I have a twin brother who's a DB coach at Arizona State. He's been at Arizona State. He was at TCU when they went to the Natty. He was at Texas and USC and U of H. So I love football. I don't probably think, and we're in Texas, like, I love football. Like, so, and I've been on interviews, and I always wonder if do they believe me when I say that, but it's like, I go to all the football games, like right now in DISD, cause I kind of got my start teaching. I run a stadium board. So, right now at Sprague Stadium, I run the video board, at Sprague. So I literally was at a football game last night. Like, I'm at football games all the time.
Oh, wow.
I went to Baylor. I meant to mess with you about that. Went down to Baylor with Arizona State, won on that game-winning field goal last week. I'm going to Arizona State in a couple weeks. Hopefully, I'm trying to work on some OU tickets right now. But I love football. I think football or multiple sport athletes, I think high school is the only time that you can really, really play other sports. When you get to college, it's a business. You get guys all the time that sign multiple sport athletes in college that are real. It's like football and track guys, like maybe football and baseball, but football and basketball, now they might let's do it for a year if you redshirting football, but it's picking up weight, losing weight, off season. You try and get on the field or you try and get on the court, you got to make a decision. So, but high school is the only time that you can do that. And so, Coach Bruner at our AC and head football coach in Molina, he's really big on multi-sport athletes. I have some basketball guys that play football, and he allows them to even come out in fall league, which I have never had a coach do. Yes.
Man, that's special.
Yes, yeah. It is. Very grateful for it. So I've never had a coach that does that, and he allows, you know, some of the football guys to come out there and play in fall league basketball. I try not to push them too much because I don't really want to mess up guys' season.
Yeah.
I don't get caught up in that whole football basketball beef that, you know, happens at other schools because, you know, I'm not gonna tell a kid what he can't do. If you want to go play football, by all means, play football. Now, granted, I'm preparing my basketball team. You know, because that mean I have to get another guy to step up, and you know, I gotta go with it. You know, but I think, especially for a high school kid, two things: competing year round helps them with grades because you have to stay eligible. So that, and sometimes it's hard. It's hard, you know, it's hard to get some of them kids to basketball season. You know, they got to get a report card in, and you might check grades this week, and next week you might be like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard. So you at least, you know, if you're there playing football, you know, like I'm at least gonna get some eligible kids. Like my sub varsity teams are all on the football field, which is great for me because when the season's over and they come in, I know I have eligible guys off top. Um, Also, I think it's something about competing, you know, learning to compete year round. And then you never know what your meal ticket is. It's been countless of stories of guys who were hoopers get football scholarships, guys that were hoopers that get cross country or track scholarships, football guys that get track scholarships because, you know, they're told to go out there and play track. So it's always like, you know, don't put all your eggs in a bucket, especially in basketball. I think on the next level, and when I say next level, it ain't just D1. It's NAIA, JUCO, D2. Like, it is dudes on the next level. Everybody isn't gifted athletically or physically to go play basketball at the next level. Some basketball, I always say, sometimes guys get stuck at weird heights. Sometimes a 6'5" guy who's a center, who's a great high school center, you can't go play on the next level as a 6'5" center unless you're, you know, athletically blessed. You know, it's some really good point guards that are 5'8". You know, it's some real good shooting guards that are only 6 foot. And, you know, you look at the NBA now, like it's almost like every point guard 6'5", 6'6". And so I don't, granted, we love our straight basketball kids. We're not gonna act like we don't, you know, but I'm not upset if they want to go play something else. Sometimes I know I've had to do this in the past and tell some kids you might need to look at going to play football. Like, what do you want to do? You really want to go to college, you want to get it paid for, and you want to be a collegiate athlete? Like, sometimes you have to have those hard conversations and be like, it's just not going to work out in basketball. Like, I'm not saying you can't go anywhere, but, you know, no one's looking at you for your size and skill set. Is really going to be no place. And now that the transfer portal is here, it's like, I hate to say it, but it's true. Why get a high school kid? Like, these coaches' jobs are on the line. So
even harder now. Yeah.
So why would I go get a high school kid? And I have a kid who is a former 4-star top 50 player, didn't pan out at his first 2 schools or 3 schools. Now he's looking for somewhere to go. And now he's thinking about going D2. Now he's thinking about coming to this NAIA school who would have never got this kid 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, just having a son go through that whole process, graduated last spring from Faith, and he's playing at Trinity. You're right. D3, it doesn't matter the level. There's good players there. And now because of the portal, they have even access to more, like you just said. And so, and I love the way that you framed that as even more of a reason now more than ever for kids to do more and play more, because the idea that this is your ticket and just focus solely on it, maybe, but it's harder. It's harder now than it was before or has been before. And then I thought your point about the grades, I didn't think about that. If they, you and I both know in the fall and in the spring, we emphasize grades way less than we do come November, December, and in those grades, and so what if there's another sport with coaches doing that work for us and then instilling those good habits there, having more urgency there? Great point. Maybe we'll have more that roll around
And I do agree with the competition piece.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I mean, you gotta. I tend to try to look at glass half full than half empty, and so again, control what you can control. I don't think we understand. We're in Texas. You're
Yeah.
not gonna go far as a high school basketball coach if you are telling kids not to play football. Now
Good point.
you might not.
Just for that alone. Yeah.
Yeah. You might not want them to play football. You might not like them to play football, but for kids to be able to repeat that, coach said, if I go play football, who does the hiring in Texas? The athletic directors. Who are the athletic directors? More than likely, the head football coach.
And if we are saying no, and this I had to get around to this because I think early on, probably my first 5 to 10 years, I was pretty territorial and just thought if you're playing multiple sports, then you're not that serious about basketball.
Mhm.
And that was more just because of my personal experiences. We probably got to be careful about injecting the way that our path went, me and making that seem like, well, that's what you should do also,
Right.
just because I did that. I think that's a bad way to look at it. But yeah, it can't be territorial. And if we are telling people that you should do this or that over there, and check your why. Like, what's your reasoning in that? Most likely, it's a completely selfish reason.
Mhm.
You're only in it because you think that, yeah, well, I look at the teams that win state and they have all straight basketball players. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not, depending on what level you're at. But what's best for that player? And then just support them through the journey. Because, like you said before, they only get one chance at this.
Mhm. Yeah. I think, kind of piggyback off that, you know, you, you got to be real with your kid too. You know, uh, again, got to kind of go back to Kimball. Like, it's a little different when I got a top 50 kid in the country, and he has 10 to 15 Division I offers, and he's like, "Coach, I'm gonna go play football," and I'm like, "Do you? Why? Why are you doing
Yeah.
that?"
Yeah.
Well,
That's a business decision then at that point. Yeah, that's not that's a money decision now. That's not a love of the game or, go have some fun. Hold on. Yeah.
Like, because it's like I always try to give the kid, like you said, you don't want to project your thoughts and opinions.
Yep.
So let me give a kid a chance to talk, to advocate for himself. Like, why? Wow. What's and I'll tell him I'm not upset about you if that's what you want to do, but why? And they gave me their reason, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think that's good reason for you. I think, you might need to try to find some other. You need to really think about this because you're not the average kid. Like now, my kid that doesn't have any type of scholarship offers, and he wants to go play football, and he's like 4'6'5". I get it. It's already there. As soon as he mentions it, I'm like,
Makes
he's
sense.
trying to he's trying
Yeah.
to get college paid for. He wants to go play at the next level. At this point, no one's came to him in basketball, so he's literally like, I'll take anything right now. If I gotta go play wide receiver, tight end, DN, if that gives me opportunity to go play in college, that's what I want to do. Cool. But some of these kids, that like you said, it's money. So too is like if I'm a junior, sophomore, or senior, I'm top ESPN, 4 stars. I got the accolades. Like, dude, you about to get $150,000, $300,000. Like, chill out. You go out there
Yeah.
and you blow a knee, and it works on the other side too. Even with the football coaches, I understand you want that athlete, but sometimes you might have to say like, I ain't gonna let you do it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think football coaches also lean on us to make sure that we aren't, I try to say, hoarding kids, because you get those kids that want to run from football off season. And so you get kids that come out there that really aren't basketball players and you really can't use. And I think that's a part of you and your football coach being able to trust each other and say, hey, coach, look, this kid came in the gym, coach. I can't use him. I know he probably trying to run from football all season. And I know you gonna need him. Like, I'm like, coach, look, I'm not stopping you. If you want to get them back, that's cool. And then you kind of be real on kids that you think can help your program. And so, I know we all want to get numbers and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think it's about being real for the kid. And sometimes you have to push the kid. So if that means you have to push the kid to stick to your sport or push the kid to go to another sport, it's all about that reasoning why to justify it.
And I like the fact that you're asking them that question and trying to find out what the why is. The response I don't like is, well, LeBron did it. Okay. All right. Well, if we're going to compare ourselves to the outlier of an outlier, Allen Iverson played. Okay. Like they are freaks of nature
Yeah,
that I
race to the
don't care
toughness.
what sport they're doing. Like they'll probably be great at it pretty quick. So we can't compare to that. But I don't know about you. I've never had it work out well when I'm really trying to convince them to either do something or not do something, or if there's manipulation involved, it typically doesn't end well.
No.
There's resentment. And then sometimes too, it's kind of like what we want with our parents. We want our parents to allow their sons to fail at times. We know it's a bad decision. We don't agree with it. Maybe they have to learn that on their own, and it might be the hard way. And then, but I think what, and this is just the growth in me is if they make a decision. I went to a couple years ago. Southwest had a sale on plane tickets where anywhere you want to go, half off. It was insane. So my wife and I love to go to Hawaii. We were able to go to stay there really cheap at that. It was like in September if we got these tickets for super cheap. So made the mistake of leaving for coach 1 week. I went to Hawaii. I came back. My top 2 players had moved to football. Like they had made the decision and the football coaches mid-season let these 2 guys come in, which that kind of bugged me because I'm like, "Oh, like you're already playing games. What does that look like for these other guys that have been there through the
First next
summer
day.
and everything, but they're good athletes and they had played before." But it was kind of one of those where, man, that really burned. Like I didn't want to lose those guys. But then at the same time, I thought, okay, what's going to allow them to come back to basketball in good spirits and excited about playing for me again is if I don't, one, hold it against them, act like I'm just pissed off every time I see them. And then I had to swallow a little bit of pride. And then once they started playing, hey, how'd your game go? How'd you play?
Right.
That was necessary because ultimately I want them to be happy, I want them to be healthy, and I want them to come back eager to play basketball. And the funny thing is if both of them were honest, it was they were honest about probably not the best decision, but at least I didn't have a hand in it either way.
Right, right. Yeah. So short-term memory with kids. I have a rule in my classroom is, it's because they're kids, they're gonna get out of line, they're gonna not do word, they're gonna be mad at the world one day. You gotta write them up. We can always start again tomorrow. Uh
Yeah.
and I had to learn that as a young teacher, because sometimes, these kids they can get under your skin and then you find yourself like not liking them and you don't ever want to be like that because you're like, they're kids. So
Yeah.
I tell my kids, hey, we can always try again tomorrow. If I got to write you up, if I got to kick you out, I got to call your mama. If I got to fail you, you can always come back tomorrow and we can redo this. I'm not going to be acting weird and mad at you. And they kind of see that like, man, I had some choice words to say to coach yesterday, but he's speaking to me today. Like,
Yeah.
and so I found that with kids is they respect you being tough on them, but then they also respect that the fact that you're not like holding grudges on them either. And so you get
What a great point. I think I needed to hear that, honestly, just because setting standards in a new place. And so many people have given me this advice is just to be prepared for conflict, be prepared for chaos and pushback at times. Overall, it's been great, but there are those moments where you can be at a place for so long where they just kind of do what they're supposed to do. And the older players teach it and they grow in it. And so it becomes kind of a machine. Not that you don't have to fight for it every day, but it's just easier. And then all of a sudden, there is that conflict. And I feel that frustration. And I have to remember to have that short memory and to come back and give them a fresh start tomorrow too, as well as myself. That was great.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I think, because again, I'm pretty sure just like you are, you're real passionate about what you do. And I think, you know, everything, because here, everything is going good here in Molina, but then there's also those other things. And it's like, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you gotta take the good with the bad, and you wake
Yeah.
up and you start tomorrow, and a lot of people, because what you tend to find out, whether it's players or it's parents or it's people in the community, is they hold on to those things a lot longer than you do. And of course you're trying to develop young men, but you're trying to win games, even though your job isn't predicated on winning and losing. It's about running a program, about it looking a certain way. But hey, we all got competitiveness in us, and we want to win games. And so uh sometimes people are gonna prioritize their feelings over winning. My child, like, he feels this way, and I think you're messing up doing my child different. And it's like, come on now. If your child gives me a good chance to win the game, I don't care how much I like or might not like him, he's going to be put in those situations. If I don't feel like he gives me that chance, he's not in there.
I think we got to remind ourselves that we have the right and the ability to react to things in a certain way. We have the right to not have an opinion on things. So often I feel like I live as if I don't have that ability or right. I have to react. But if you're constantly allowing people, if I'm constantly allowing people to their decisions to affect me or to have an opinion about those, man, I'm going to rise and fall and rise and fall. And when people make good decisions, I'll feel good. But the moment they do things or say things that I don't understand, and they're misinterpreting, or I feel like they don't have my back, then I'm going to fall down low. And the coach, that's just a hard way to exist when we do need to stay like this. We need to be the one. If everybody else is crazy, we need to be the people that are the same every day. But man, I don't know about you, that can be tough.
Yeah, you don't really get a chance to be in your feelings, being a coach. You don't, and I guess I'll say this loosely, but you don't have the opportunity to be human at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can say what they want to you sometimes, and you're not supposed to react and like how you would want to. Like, you got to be the mature one at all times, whether it's during the game, in the locker room, in the parent meeting, when people are accusing you of outlandish things that are so far from the truth. Like this one thing of, I think you kind of touched on it earlier. You don't like my son. If I did not like your son, he would not be on my team. Like, that's the most way I can show you that I don't like somebody, is to remove them from being around me. It's some type of privilege that they can to be on the team. That they have to. It's a right. It's not a right. They give us 15 jerseys, and I know, like, probably most people, I don't plan to suit up 15 guys. I can't play 15 guys in a basketball game. So the fact that your son is here means that I see something in him, and I want him to be around. And so I think, how you said, we have to always be here. We can't get too high, because he think he knows everything, and he's cocky, and and if we're responding to everything is, I don't like the way coach talked to me. Yeah, but did you not tell coach A, B, and C why he was coaching or on the way to the locker room? And you try to say he didn't know what he was doing. And so when we have those urges to want to react as a human, we can't do that. And it's a real maturity thing, and I think uh is magnified in high school basketball. People who actually coach at a high school. Now, certain AAU programs, I feel like they conduct themselves to the standard of what high school is. But you can and it's so crazy, because it's like, I watch parents pay money to play AAU and behave themselves so well at games. I watch sometimes where I'm like, one, you're paying, your kid shouldn't be sitting on the bench. Maybe he can't play for
No.
this organization. And that's okay. But you have to tell your son the truth, is that you're not an EYBL kid. You're not an Under Armour
Yeah.
kid. You're a mom and pop team kid, which is fine. There's nothing wrong. There's some great mom and pop organizations.
Oh,
There's
no
some
doubt.
great
Yeah. In it for the right
organizations.
reasons, do it the right way. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not on the circuit. They're not on the shoe team, but they take care of their kids. They're actually coaching them. It's not an open
Yeah.
gym. You know, they have connections, and they're gonna give your kid the exposure that they need to go to high school basketball. But it's like, you'll go watch your kid play on a circuit team or some team, you're paying $1,200 a month. You paid $45 to get into the game, and your son played 5 minutes, and I watch you sit over there and clap. But he comes to his high school game and we're playing the number 2 team in the state, and it's a packed out arena. Your kid really probably doesn't want to play because it's a lot going on that, you're not understanding. And he doesn't give us a really good chance to win, and he might spot play. And now you want to have a parent meeting with me. You want to scream at me through the stands and say, I don't know what I'm doing. You want to snatch your kid out of the locker room because we're taking too long to get out. So we always have to be like, straight, even keel, understand that. And then, of course, come follow the parent meetings, and, they want to go to your AD and, oh, I'm going to try to get you fired because you mistreating my kid. And it's like, and we know it doesn't really work like that. So I know sometimes we might not even get worked up about somebody going to our AD or our principal, because we know, like, I'm doing my job.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. You better make sure that everything else that comes along with this job that people don't realize, like basketball sometimes feels like the smallest part of what we have to do. Besides the fact, and when getting this job at Midway, the principal, Ms. Smith, said, just remember, Matt, the teaching part is 90% of what you're getting paid for. And I remember sitting there going, oh, wow. I do think I had that number that flipped. That basketball is the 90% and speech communications is the 10%. But I think that's really important that we remember to have all of those other systems in place and running really well. Our communication, our organization, the development of every layer of our program. If we have those lined up, if and when the inevitable overzealous parent wanting to helicopter in and swoop Johnny out from, rescue him, when that happens and they go to the AD, then we know that we're covered.
Right.
I think it's when you're not doing those other things and that happens, we could be in trouble.
Right. Yeah, I think one thing that I did, and I always try when we interview for these jobs, everybody's talking their best game. But I try to make sure that I don't say things that I'm not willing to do. And so
Good point. Yeah.
I told, my principal that, I was going to be a presence in her building on top of just being a basketball coach. Our school starts at 9:00. We have to clock in by 8:30. I'm at school between about 7:30, 7:45 every day, walking the hallways. They gave me a radio.
What time you get out?
We got at 4:30. But
Wow.
our athletics starts at 3. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so, but I have morning duty, help with check-in, and even like this week I don't have morning duty. Guess what? I'm still up in the front. I still get to school early. Is because it's like, I have to take care of those others. I understand I'm more than just a basketball coach, so I want to make sure that I am a presence in the building. Because like you said, and it's not like you're doing it so if something does happen, but it's like, you have to understand that your job, like you said, is 90% of being a teacher. 90% of what you bring to the building, and you get, it's a heavy weighted 10% of basketball, because we're doing a lot when it comes to games and planning and practice. You're doing a lot in that 10%, but you better make sure that they see you more than just outside of that basketball gym. And so, and which it doesn't like affect me, because like I said, we start school at 9. When I came from Houston, I had to be at school at 6:30. So when I got to DISD and they're like, yeah, we don't clock in till 8. I'm like, 8? I can sleep till
I'm
7.
sleeping in every day. Yeah, this is great.
So, no complaints.
Hey, I think you mentioned something with parents and select ball, and they're paying money, but they seem so into it. I wrote down the word they're invested. They're invested financially in that program. And with that financial investment, it brings in the feelings and the support, which it seems like in my mind, that's backwards. Like you have a right to hold that person accountable because you're paying them for what they're doing with your son. You have a right legally to be at Dallas Molina, but you don't have to play basketball. This is extracurricular, but it's flipped sometimes. So how do we create that investment with our parents? I feel like social media is a big part of that. We can use social media to let them in, to let them, because most of them have full-time jobs. They're not going to come watch athletic period, come watch practice. So open up the doors, raise the curtain, and let them see daily or every few days what they're doing. Let them see the fun. Let them see the development and the skill work. So, coach, at a new place, how are you planning on using social media to enhance your program?
So social media is the greatest tool that we have at our fingertips when used correctly.
Yeah.
That's been my statement with that for a long time, is that because, before social media, like, you had to have a website if you wanted, back. Like, I would have to put a Molina basketball website. I have to pay money, find somebody.
GoDaddy. Yeah, GoDaddy.
Yeah, you're right. So now it's like, come to my Twitter, come to my Instagram page. And so
Yeah.
again, I kind of told you earlier, I got my start at starting video boards. I used to be an audio video teacher at Crosby High School. I started making highlight tapes back before everybody was kind of really doing it. I kind of look back sometimes like, man, I was onto something. I should have probably stuck with it. I might have a real brand right now, but
That's right.
but if you look at Kimball's social media page, I was in charge of their Instagram page. When I took over their Instagram page, they had like 200 followers. They weren't really using it. Now, granted, Kimball has an amazing name. So now their Instagram page has almost 3,000 followers.
Yeah.
I did a real good job of contacting guys and of local guys that did video. I did all their graphics and everything, job promoting. So that's what I'm, moving to Molina, still doing. So, I mean, if you ever look at our Molina basketball page, just putting flyers out and graphics and just making it look nice. Also, I'm the social media coordinator and recruiting coordinator for Molina High School athletics. So, just trying to help everybody else get their social medias off the ground. Things have to have a look to them. And so when it looks nice, you tend to treat it better. So, it's like your front living room, or if you go to grandma's house, grandma got the front living room. Like, if you go in that front living room, you take your shoes off, you sit on, you don't jump on the couch, you sit on the couch soft, you get a coaster if you put a drink up, or you might even bring a drink or food in that room, but your real living room, oh, you got your feet up on the couch, you lay back, you throwing the remote, you spill some red soda, you kind of halfway wipe it up, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we want to have that front living room look of, when people first look at Molina basketball and they go and they see the graphics, they see the highlights, they see the posting. It's like, okay, now my mind already goes to what I think Molina basketball is. We could be here, but my social media page makes it look like we're here. So now people, guess what? When they start thinking Molina, they start thinking up here. They don't look down here. Granted, if I was just taking my phone out and snapping a picture and posting that and camera's halfway sideways and I'm showing somebody get a layup and it's like, it's like, you ain't even looking at it, just a presentation. It's like, oh, this doesn't look good. These guys look sorry. They don't look, like they could play basketball. And, so it's, kind of one of those things, kind of perception is reality. So, social media, kind of like when you said like that in investment part, I think that's you paying back into your program. That's you taking the time out, because it's a lot, to do social media. It's not hard, but it's time consuming. And so that gives you, like I said, parents away. Maybe you got a potential donor that looks and say, hey, I like the way you guys are marketing yourself. I would like to, attach my name to you guys. Different programs. Again, like at Kimball, we used to have people reach out to the page to try to invite us to tournaments out of town, but they don't know us. So how would they get in contact with us if we didn't have a social media page? If we didn't have, like, we had a clip of a kid jumping over somebody and dunking on them, like, you put it on social media, it goes viral, And so now we're getting this, people contacting us, and it's also exposure for your players. And then I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit because the word you use, investment, I like that. Coach Gerald Smith, the head coach at Madison, he was over at Kimball when you came too, and now he's head coach at Madison. he used to always say, parents would come up to you and say, hey, my kid's not getting better. He came here in August when school started, and it's January, and I feel like he's the same player. And he would always say, well, what are you investing into him? He's like, well, he's with y'all. You, the coaches. Yeah, of course. We're going to teach, fundamentals, but we're also teaching guys how to, play a system that we are teaching, and we got to actually have our practice. So it's like they're getting a little bit of here, a little bit there, a lot of bit of what we want to do as a program. So you need to be able to go and invest into a trainer. You need to be able to go and invest into, outside of what we do.
Like ball. Yeah.
Yes. Strength and conditioning guy,
Yeah.
something that makes you say, okay, now, because he always says parents don't appreciate free. They treat free like it's free. So yeah, we go
Yeah.
practice every day, but now those dentist appointments come up, right? Now they have a cruise to go to. Now they have a cousin that's playing out of town. You know what I'm saying? So now they have all this stuff to do when you give it to them for free. But when they're paying for trainers and they're spending that investment money, how many training sessions do they miss? How many AAU weekends do they miss when they're paying $60 for a weekend pass, when they're paying $1,000 a month for tournament fees? Like how many AAU practices do they miss? Not many, if any, and I mean, like how AAU now is, sometimes this stuff is every weekend, and so that's a lot of money that they're investing. And so it's just, and it's not every parent, but it's just kind of, I guess, human nature, is that when we get stuff for free, we tend to not treat it well. If I give you $50, you're gonna hold on that $50. If I give you a penny, you might lose it by the end of the day. It's still money, it's still worth something, you know, but it's all about how people feel, how they treat things. So, and I like how you that word you wrote down, in investment. And I think too, with public school ball, like parents think the ball kind of stops, and then it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna pass my kid out to you, and which I think we do a lot with the kids that we get in, because we take what walks through those doors. And and if it's a down year for us and I have to deal with a bunch of kids that are 5'8", guess what? I have to deal with those kids. I don't have the luxury, and this is no knock on AAU. I don't have the luxury to go find a 6'5" kid
just to recruit over.
Yeah.
Yeah, to recruit over what you got.
Yeah, so it's like, if I get, again, going back to when I open that gym and I get one kid that comes in, I have to work that one kid out. I mean, how many trainers that are doing free sessions get one kid and say, I'm gonna work him out? Probably some, but probably not many. They probably say, hey, training chance was canceled today. I only got one.
Yeah, not worth my time. Yeah. Man, hey, Coach, all good things. Hey, before I let you go, I want to do this speed round. A lot of the guys in the Dallas-Fort Worth area know who you are, but after this, we'll really know who you are.
Okay.
Ready? Favorite ice cream flavor?
I'm a vanilla. No, I was gonna say vanilla, but there's this place called Dalai Lama, and they have this thing called Ultimate Cookie Monster. Is my new favorite.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I just started salivating. Greatest shooter of all time?
Steph Curry.
Yeah. Do you stand up or sit down more during games?
Stand up. I can't sit down.
Can't. Yeah. Top 3 dinner guests any time period?
Ooh. That's a good one. Top 3 dinner guests. James Harden is one of my all-time favorite players. I'm trying to keep it away from basketball.
Yeah.
Get something else in there.
It's a good one. That's a good question.
But think about when we get off this, I'm gonna have all these names. Like, that.
Any time period.
Let's no.
Let's go. Let's come back to it. I'll go to another one. Best basketball movie of all time?
Basketball. Coach Carter.
Yeah, that's a good one. Solid. You ever make a kid do 1,000 suicides or lines though? I thought that was extreme.
Not 1,000, but I think I've had some do 1,000 because they kind of don't make
maybe over time they've done 1,000, but yeah, I just always thought like, okay,
ones where you go like, don't count, then make it. Don't count, then.
That's right.
Arms go, but
All right. Both of us are in Texas for high school. Shot clock or no shot clock?
Shot clock,
Yeah.
must have shot clock.
With you. Do players sit the rest of the first half with 2 fouls?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You want them to have those 3 going in the second half. That always feels good for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I got into some arguments last year with some of my assistant coaches because I did the subs. And they're like, he's not going to. Yes, he is. No, he's not getting in. No.
But
Yes.
yeah, you got to know your players. If you know that 1 becomes 2 and that 2 is quickly going to become 3, sometimes you got to save them from themselves a
But
little bit.
sometimes it's like, you don't know what happens. Sometimes they get those standing around fouls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like this, and the ref just chooses to say it's a block instead of,
Yeah. Favorite holiday?
I'm gonna say New Year's.
Like that. What book would you give someone?
The Art of War.
Yeah. Solid. I think as a coach, you got to read it. You got to read it. There's a moment in that, I think, where he talks about only fight battles that you know you can win. I don't think that pertains to games and like scheduling, because sometimes you got to schedule that. If we play Duncanville next year, all right, that's a that's a tough one, but you want that battle. I think that's more of the daily battles that you go through.
Yeah.
Fight the ones that you know you can win.
Mhm.
Don't fight the ones like with a football coach or with that you know you can't.
Yeah.
That's a good nugget.
Like dress code. Your principal tells you want you to come in slacks and polos every day. Guess what? That's not one I'm willing to die on. Like,
That's right. Favorite place to travel?
I like Brazil, simply because the dollar is worth like 5 or 6 out there, and it spends like 5 or 6. It's not like where you go somewhere and it's
I am
$1,
actually rich in Brazil.
Yeah. Like, no, like, seriously, like, I've been out there eating, taking Ubers during rush hour traffic, and it's like, it's $50, and it's like, that was $10, you know?
That's awesome. Last one, coach. In basketball, as a player, who's the GOAT?
LeBron James.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
Now you might be showing an age difference between us right now, because that my generation or the people around, like, we're a Jordan guy. But tell me why LeBron.
So I was, I don't even want to get into like the longevity and all that, but it's just, especially I think we kind of forget when you kind of got to go back and watch that young Cleveland LeBron, that early Miami LeBron. And
Yeah.
it's just, I always believe sports is evolution. It's always bigger, stronger, faster. And I mean, he just has it. I mean, by a guy that can play all 5 positions, guard all 5 positions, and he can affect the game without scoring. I mean, we talked about that earlier. I get it. I mean, guys are scorers. Scores are amazing. Like I just said, James Harden's my favorite player. I think James Harden had one of the most unguardable seasons of a player that you can ever. The guy got doubled off the jump ball. You have not seen that. And so I do feel like he played in. I guess guys want to compare eras, but you gotta be honest and say that there's the era that he played in is definitely a more athletic and skill gifted brand of basketball. Again, just bigger, stronger, faster. And then like I say, if you take in the longevity as well, it's just over the top. But
I love LeBron. Even though I'm an MJ GOAT guy, LeBron is incredible. He's definitely on Mount Rushmore. But you know what I love about him, though, is off the court, no scandals, nothing bad. The worst thing he's ever done is build a school for kids. So he's been a great ambassador for it for sure.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I think and that takes a lot, to have that type of image, especially in this quick.
No doubt.
Is that LeBron doing? And it'll be everywhere. And I think a lot of players, are lucky that they didn't play in this era of.
Coach, I'm lucky that I didn't go to high school or college now. Hey, man, this was awesome. I mean, I've enjoyed getting to know you a couple years ago, and then super excited for what the step you're about to take. And I know you're going to do an awesome job there, but really enjoyed this time and just honored to have it with you.
Man, thank you, Coach. Man, I definitely appreciate you extending the opportunity. Like I said, I was very excited when I got in. I had this date circled all week, so I I'm glad to be here. Hopefully, we can do this again. I'll get some more opportunities, and you get to follow Molina basketball and see what we go do.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.